Jerome Powell, he's the head of the Federal Reserve. He was actually appointed by one Donald Trump. And Jerome is in charge of interest rates along with the Board of Governors for the Federal Reserve. And he has been aggressively keeping interest rates higher than what the president would like. So the president wants him out of town. He wants to see lower interest rates because he feels that it would be better for everyday folks, right? You'd have more access to capital. It would be easier to get a mortgage for your home, be easier to invest, et cetera. You know, little unknown fact about interest rates is that when they're high, it doesn't actually affect the rich as much because the rich are paying off their car loans and they're paying off their home loans. And so it tends to kind of squeeze the middle class a lot. And Donald Trump gets this. And so he's very angry with Jerome Powell because he wants to make sure that everything's freed up for that middle class to see success for the middle class of America. So he's been talking about firing the guy. But, you know, you can't really do that, legally speaking. And he knows that. He actually said as much the other day. You know, he's been drafting letters and this, that, and the other. I think he kind of just wants to make Jerome's life a living HELL, which we saw proof of in this little scene that was shot yesterday. You see, Jerome Powell has spent a ton of money revamping the Federal Reserve, all kinds of renovations. And Donald Trump's like, why are you spending so much money? And don't forget, this is his expertise, right? Do you remember that? This is his expertise, building buildings, getting them done on time, cheaply, and done well. And so he doesn't understand why Jerome committed billions of dollars to this effort and things are running behind schedule and they're not done and blah, blah, blah. So he's very angry about this. They decided to take a trip to the construction site. So here the two of them are in the hard hats. I was dying. I have never seen a Federal Reserve chairman in a hard hat. Maybe a president, maybe Bush wore one, but never a chairman of the Federal Reserve. And wait till you see the dialogue. It's literally like a scene out of The Apprentice. Take a peek. Have you ever seen that? Anything like that? No, no, and no. You know, normally I talk about the Federal Reserve, and I'm kind of into it, right? Because I like interest rates and markets and all that kind of stuff, and everybody's like, ugh, you know, getting a little bit bored. But wow, Trump just found a really interesting way to make it kind of fun. Looking at Jerome Powell in the hard hat, getting scolded by the president because he's been spending too much money on renovations. Meanwhile, you have Anna Paulina Luna, the congresswoman out of Florida, who's actually demanding the resignation of one Jerome Powell because she said he spent too much money and she believes he lied under oath about how much money he was spending, this, that, and the other. And they're all just kind of like, really? Did you need to have offices that were that nice? And so he's in a lot of trouble. But what this really is about is that the president would like to see lower interest rates. I'm just going to tell you, I don't get Jerome Powell from the perspective that during the Biden years, okay, and in the aftermath of 2020, he just printed so much money. Well, we were spending in Congress, right? Because you had Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer doing their part to approve trillions of dollars. You had Biden with the third stimulus check. Meanwhile, you had Jerome with his QE on steroids, plus his low interest rates. He just couldn't keep pumping money into the system fast enough. And I was banging my hand on the table. If you guys were watching the show or listening back then, I was like, this is not going to end well. It's not going to end well because you're going to have massive inflation. And sure enough, what did we have? Massive inflation. And I remember thinking at the time, like, isn't Jerome smarter than this? Like, shouldn't he know better? And now I'm looking at the situation, and I think the president is noticing a little bit of the pullback that we have seen just in I think some of the confidence levels, even though the market's on steroids and you've seen gas prices come down, egg prices come down, all of that. And he wants to get ahead of that. He doesn't want to be late. The Fed is always late, and they always do too much after the fact. It's like they slam the gas or they just slam the brake, and you need something a little bit more in between. So he's done. He's over Powell. He wants the guy out, and this is his way of kind of trying to help things along. He's got another 8 months there. It's like a pressure campaign. And, you know, Scott Jennings was speaking on CNN with some of these people who, believe me, trust me, don't know a darn thing about the Federal Reserve or interest rates or how the economy even works. And he was asked about this, see his response. I mean, I think he's with me. It's a little bit of a humiliation campaign. Jerome, when are you going to leave? Watch.
On the tariffs, and that's that. But instead, Trump is trying to use this renovation as a reason to put pressure on him. I'm not sure that that's going to work.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to fire him. It doesn't sound like he's going to. He doesn't have that many months left on his term. Trump will be able to put in his own Fed chair. It looks to me like he's planning to just humiliate this person for the next 8 months and make him into a miserable person. And you know what? He deserves it, because he should have lowered interest rates, A. B, I'm not sure the Fed's done all that great of a job over time since Powell has been in, even though Trump did first appoint him.
I mean, even though
so maybe he deserves a little of the political theater.
I'm curious about that, Scott, because first of all, this is Donald Trump's Fed chair. He appointed Powell. But the second thing is realistically, when you look at the last 4 years, let's call it.
Is she going to try and tell us he did a great job? I don't think so. I think all the inflation that you have seen in food and energy prices is a direct result of all of that QE that he just couldn't get he like couldn't stop. It was like he was addicted to it. I kept saying, when are they going to stop? Please, come on. So I think he made a lot of mistakes. And granted, I know it's easy to be the Monday morning quarterback, but it's one of the reasons you see gold prices going up as much as they have. It's another reason why you see crypto prices. I mean, there's a lot of reason for crypto prices to be going higher. And this is part of it. This is part of it. A Federal Reserve that really has been, in my estimation, kind of reckless on interest rates and on QE. And so I think that's coming back to haunt him. Donald Trump knows that we need to get this in a better situation, right? So that you have enough liquidity for the middle class and that you free things up for them while simultaneously not overdoing it on QE, which is what actually does lead, ladies and gentlemen, to inflation. In fact, some recent studies have come out about this. We just wrote about it at 76 Research, my financial firm, the other day, about how quantitative easing is really the main driver of inflation. But again, as we look at what it's meant for markets, look, there's a lot of trade optimism out there right now. I think that people are hoping for the best right now. We looked at, 120K on Bitcoin just the other day. It's a little off those levels, but it's a good chance for me to bring up one of our new show advertisers, and we're so proud to have them on board, Gemini. I want you to go to gemini.com/Trish, my name, and check them out, because you can get up to $200 in free Bitcoin with qualifying offers. I mean, you have to have spent a certain amount of money over 90 days, et cetera. You make sure you read the fine print. But what I like about this particular credit card, and remember, always pay your credit card off. Always, 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 always. It doesn't cost anything to have the card, and you can get rewards points in cryptos. I mean, my choice would be Bitcoin. I happen to like Bitcoin. I like a few of them. I do. I like Bitzenzor, also known as Tau. I like Ethereum enough. And I like, Bitcoin, obviously, you know about that. And Sui, which was started by a bunch of the guys from Meta who had left when they were not allowed to have their Libra coin. So that's sort of a play on Web 3.0. So there's a lot of reasons, I think, from a tech perspective to be looking at this stuff. But I get it. It's kind of scary. And now when you see Bitcoin trading where it is, you're like, really, can I still get in here? And the answer is, why not consider something maybe a little different? Like, if you have a credit card anyway, and you're good about paying it off, and you're going to get rewards points, what if you can get 2, 3, 4% on various different categories of purchases back in a crypto of your choice? I mean, mine would be Bitcoin, but they have other cryptos that you can choose from. It's kind of neat, right? Because typically your credit card rewards points, they go way down in value. You can thank Jerome in part for that, but inflation means that they're worth less. So if you're trying to book a hotel room, you're like, wait a second, it used to be 30,000 points. Well, now it's 100,000 points. Well, what if your points actually had a shot at increasing in value? I mean, you have to assume that crypto prices are going to go up, of course, and they could go down. But if they go up, then you actually have value in the reward points themselves. So I encourage you to go check it out. Gemini.com/Trish, my name, so you can get the $200 in the crypto of your choice. It's really, really cool. I keep telling everybody, like friends and family, you got to do this. You got to do this.